life that I'm living. Sit back, chillin', start a multi-business with the focus of making millions. It's the stuff that dreams are made of and no.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk Business. My name is Marvell Robinson. I'm your host for the show. And today we have a special individual. In fact, I'm very excited that I was able to get him to come on to the show because he's a busy guy. This guy is always doing something, but he's taking some time out so he can express his journey with you viewers. And who am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about someone you may know locally here in the South Bend area, Tre Marquise Mailey. I want to make sure he said it right. Okay. How you doing, Tre?
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
busy.
Yeah, see, didn't I tell you that's how it works? But hey, so listen, man. I know you got somewhere you got to be, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I wanted to take the time to dig deep a little bit about, your journey. Let's start off with saying, of course, I've mentioned you're here from South Bend, but is this where you're born and raised?
Born and raised 29 years here in South Bend. So.
Okay. And now with that being said, you've been in South Bend for a while, and you've been producing a lot of activities as far as out here goes. Tell the people a little bit about what you do.
Oh, man. It's kind of hard to sum it up into, one thing, but I'm an artist, no matter if that's in the filmmaking, capacity, if that's events, if that's in music, photography, whatever it is. Like I got my hands in a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
so just
man.
full-blown entrepreneur. So
Yeah. I love the fact that you started off with artists because that's the source of the creativity for everything else. So with that, man, thank you for all you've created here in the area.
Man. Thank you.
When it comes to this, though, how did your journey start, man? How did it begin for you?
Man, you want to go like way back, or you want to talk about?
The floor is yours.
Wow. Okay. So I remember I was in maybe like third grade. I used to get in trouble all the time because I would finish all of my work so that I can get my writing done. I used to write poems and write songs and all this other stuff. And man, I got moved up 2 grades because they said that I wasn't challenged enough and all of this other stuff. But man, it really started in school, man. As a young kid, I knew I was going to be in entertainment. And then going outside of, just writing, songs and, poems and stuff at school, then I was self-taught drums and self-taught like piano and stuff like that. Grew up around music. My mom and my dad sing. My dad sang at church. Still sings at his church out in Indianapolis. And man, music has just always been in my life. I've always been around cameras. And then, getting into my teenage years, got my first camera when I was 16. Didn't know what I was doing at all. I just knew it felt good having a camera in my hands. And then COVID year came around. We had a lot of time on our hands. And I'm like, man, I really want to get into film. And had a conversation with one of my brothers, Jimmy Ball. He's from here, but he lives out in Atlanta now. And we were supposed to create like a YouTube short series. But he's seen the opportunity business-wise to get out of South Bend. It was the perfect timing for him. And he jump shipped and went to Atlanta. And I was a little devastated by it because I'm like, man, we supposed to be doing this right here, But I'm kind of glad he made that jump because it forced me to like take it more serious and, to just take a deep dive into, learning the craft and, meeting the people. And over the course of 2 years, man, I found the team that I needed, to have. And I was asking God, like, hey, like, I need a team, because South Bend is not known for filmmaking. It's really not. And then, man, fast forward to here, shot, still working on a feature film. I done shot a couple of short films, won some awards for some documentaries, shot some music videos. On the artist side, but on the business side, I've worked with the Obama Foundation, shot a commercial for Champion, worked with like Notre Dame, St. Mary's, the Purdue basketball team, just a bunch of stuff. I know it's a lot that I'm forgetting about too. So one of my proudest accomplishments is like watching Hulu and seeing one of my ads like run as ads, on Hulu. So yeah, so that was a good feeling.
All right. Well, see, I love that, man, because your passion started early on.
Yeah.
And well, let me ask you. I don't know this exactly. That's why I'm gonna ask. Now, did you find yourself going to college at any given point in time? Are you a college graduate or anything
No.
like that? Okay.
I signed up for college twice.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated from high school in 2013, and I was gonna go play football at Ball State, but I had a son at a young age, so that kept me home. I wanted to stay home for him, and yeah, man, I tried to sign up for school again, but it wasn't for me. And that don't mean that it's for everybody else either.
Right.
But yeah, school just was not for me.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that because, you know, as I listened to your journey, you know, even though you gave it a shot, you realized it wasn't for you. It didn't diminish your work and it didn't discourage you from continuing to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. How were you able to still find yourself connected with these other opportunities? Was that a networking thing or somebody you knew? How did that work for you?
Man, you know, favor, man. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to work a room, you know what I'm saying? Like, just walking into it, man, and I say this as humble as possible, man, but like, when I walk into rooms, it's just being able to just, who is this guy? You know, it's always a mystery of like, people want to know who I am, what I've done, and I just think that's something that, you know, it's a different type of walk. It's a different type of motivation and inspiration, because I know where I'm going. So I know that when I wake up in the morning and I come to a show like this, or when I go out of town, I know that whoever I'm supposed to run into, I'm gonna run into them. I can't walk around here and be shy and be scared, and I gotta know that I am a magnet. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, love that law of attraction on you, huh?
Yeah.
And also you have blessings. I appreciate that, man. So now, oh, I love it because it's so much, and I don't think we're gonna have enough time for all the stuff I wanted to bring to Adam. So I'm gonna do my best. So when I think about your artistry and how you transitioned, you talk about that camera in your hand, how it made you feel, and then you also produce music. You
Yes.
talk about music always in your
Yeah.
life, so you dabbled into the industry of the music a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you found yourself right back to film.
Yeah.
So what was that about?
Man, honestly, I just love telling stories, no matter if it's through music, through photographs, or, you know, through film, you know. I just like telling stories. I love the fact that with my stories, I teach. It's always a lesson in my stuff. If you go listen to any of my music on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever, if you go watch any of my films, it's always a lesson. I'm always trying to teach, because I feel like that's what we are on this earth for. Is like we go through certain experiences, not for our own selves, but for other people. So you know what I'm saying? So I just take what I've gone through, what I've dealt with, what I've overcome, and what I feel from, and I just try to get that back to people. So.
I love it. So now let's talk a little bit about the structuring of your company.
Yeah.
First of all, what's the name of your company? When did you establish it? And what has that journey been like for you?
Yeah. So December of 2020, I formulated Dream Story Films. Man, it was a journey, because like I said, I'm an artist first. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn the business side really fast, and I'm still learning the business side. So I don't think that ever ends, because business is always changing, mottos is always changing. So you kind of got to stay current with everything. And the moment you get behind, playing catch up is not fun.
Right.
But I feel like I've been kind of playing catch up for a while. But that's okay, because I'm surrounded with the right people around me that's always keeping me up to date, that actually care, you know, if my business does good or if it fails, or you know what I'm saying? So I really don't have too many worries, man, because I feel like I got the right people around me. So
I appreciate
they keep everything, you know, grounded for me. So.
Keep it grounded, yeah. Now I heard you say something earlier. You said how South Bend is not generally recognized to be a place where films are coming out of.
Yeah.
However, there are lots of people with talent that want to produce film here.
Yeah.
But you've been able to establish something where you don't have to go to Chicago, you don't have to go to New York or LA. It might not be as big as they are. Sure, if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta is starting to pop off a lot when it comes to filmmaking as well. But you're trying to establish something right here. How have you been able to move forward knowing that this industry is not very popular here, but yet you're still able to produce films and get things going?
Man, I think you're gonna start to see that my answers are the same, but favor.
Favor, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I've always thought about moving. I've had some closest people tell me like, hey, in order for you to do what you want to do, you're gonna have to move. And I'm not a big city guy, man. So like South Bend is just home. You know what I'm saying? I love being a hometown hero. And I love being able to show, you know, especially in the black and brown community, that you don't have to leave. You can get started here. You know what I'm saying? Because how social media works, you can get started, you know, wherever you from, create your foundation, and then you can branch out, but you can always come back home. And man, you know, I'm just glad that I'm being a pioneer, you know, for that next generation, and creating, you know, just different spaces, and, you know, opening certain doors so that, you know, when I leave that door open, people can come in and people can go out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I love that, man. I love that. Now when we talk about going back to the whole structure of your company, mentors, and I say mentorship because did you just figure out how to establish and legalize your company, or what stages did you have to go through that process?
Yeah.
And what did you do?
So man, I was surrounded by, in the beginning process, as you know, Corey Pringle.
Oh yeah.
I was surrounded by Corey Pringle and my cousin Brian Frazier. And Corey Pringle actually helped me set up everything in the beginning.
Okay.
And I was just watching him, you know what I'm saying? So he most definitely mentored me in the first like 6 to 8 months of everything. So I appreciate him for that, and also my cousin Brian. But then, you know, I ended up meeting K Farlow. I ended up meeting one of my big guys, Ben Wilson. And those two have been kind of the pillars, you know, right now that have, you know, keep me grounded and make sure everything is just like the structural, like part of it is just there. So I don't, you know, I got something to land on if I fall. So.
Okay. See, I love that, man. And all those people he mentioned, we give a shout out to, who have also been guests on the show. So that's good to see that the community's been helping each other in that way, and producing gentlemen like yourself. So that's good stuff. Now, you said that you continuously are learning the process of it. Like one film you had that was downtown South Bend, it was a very nice film, man. I really appreciate you putting it on the way you did. It was really nice. Everybody got together. How many hours did that take to produce that film, man? I mean, if we gonna be honest about it, the sacrifices that have to be made sometime to build that craft, how long did it take?
We still making sacrifices.
Yeah.
We're actually about to get back into production. We took a break. It was much needed for our crew.
Right.
We had some stuff on the inner circle that we had to take care of, but we back. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question fully, man, we got started in the beginning of September last year. Started getting the crew together because we had just came off of a short film and stuff like that, and that summer was busy for us.
Right.
But I like to say I was assembling the Avengers. You know what I'm saying? While our audio guy Tyrus, he stays on in Chicago, so you know we went out there to talk to him, and then we talked to the rest of the home team that's here. And man, like it just came together so I don't even know what to call it, man. But it just came together, and next thing you know, we ended up with this premiere. We ended up with Jazz. You know,
Yeah.
Hopefully soon to be out. Hopefully December or January on Tubi, Hulu, you know, Peacock and stuff like that. But yes, we are getting back into production, so I'm excited about that.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, you gonna keep me posted when it's released, right? I need to know.
We gonna have another screening.
Yeah, man. We got to do it, man. So So just thinking about how that all works, you had to pull a lot of people together. I mean, I remember being there, and you mentioned how, you know, I think this came out of your own pocket. You know, that's a challenge, man. Because when I look at everything that went, the way it happened, I was like, man, this man, how did he pull that off out of his own pocket? You know, it was good, but I saw a lot of leverage you used in the film as well. It was like, oh, okay, you can do that. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge that. So now, you said moving forward, you have something else that you're working on right now.
Yeah.
What is that called, and did you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so right now we are in the writing phases for an untitled film right now.
Okay, untitled. Gotcha.
Looking to jump into production as of June of next year. We're about to start, you know, going into like the funding phases of everything, and come quarter one of next year, you know, we'll get into casting and all of that. So I'm excited about that because I've always wanted to, you know, create a film based around teenagers. And I'm real heavy on, you know, like race and stuff like that and how we view things and just perspective in general. Because we all go through the same things no matter what color you are, no matter what age you are, no matter what gender. So yeah, so that's what we got working on, you know, right now outside of, you know, getting back into production for, you know, the jazz film. But yeah, I always got something that I'm working on, man.
Yeah, man.
So
you're a busy guy, man.
Yeah.
I love it though, because if you're not busy, you're in trouble.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So that's any of us,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to the business plan of your company, we talked a little bit about a lot of the people that had impact in mentoring you with that, you know. And you mentioned that you're kind of the only one, the pioneer that's in the area doing this, so you don't really have to worry about competition that much. But what type of words of encouragement would you give to future filmmakers that's in the area? What would you encourage them?
Man, honestly, I would just say, like, forget what the outside has to say. You know, whatever story you choose to tell as a filmmaker, tell it, you know, because I'm not going to tell it the way that they would tell it, and vice versa. And, you know, when it comes to the business side, you know, always be a sponge. Always make sure that you are surrounding yourself with good ground. Because when you are a light, man, people will be attracted to it. But when they get around it, they're gonna try to dim it if they not the right people. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So, you know, I just think about a mosquito and how it's, you know, attracted to the light. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm not gonna go too deep into that.
That's deep enough, man.
But you know what I'm
it.
saying? Yeah, just, you know, stay grounded, you know, stay humble. It's gonna come with this humility, you know. Sometimes you're gonna, you know, be used as an example. But you gotta be okay with that, especially when you are a pioneer, so.
Now, what does that mean? Because that sounds very scary. Used as an example.
Yeah.
That could be good or bad.
It's both.
It's both.
It's both. Man, because, you know, when you're being used as an example, you know, you're really thrown out in front of everybody. Everybody gonna see you with your pants down. You know, everybody gonna see, you know, when you struggle. Everybody gonna see, you know, when you on top. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to be okay with that, you know, because if you're the first one, or, you know, I'm not the first, but, you're know,
a pioneer, though.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? As
Gotcha.
far as just being a pioneer, man, you just got to be okay with, like, not everybody knowing your business, but everybody think that they know your business. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just one of those things, you know, you just got to deal with. It's not a fun thing sometimes, especially on the spiritual side.
Right.
But, you know, you just got to be okay with it.
Okay. And, you know, that's fair because, you know, in business, we know that there are risks that people have to take in any business endeavor that they're taking. There's wins, there's losses. But my thing is what I always tell people, especially our future entrepreneurs and business owners, is the recovery that you got to focus on. Especially if you're chasing your dream or you're trying to make a dream into a reality. It's a process. You know, you're not going to get it overnight. It's that journey, it takes time to grow. Yeah. Right? And I think if I was to ask you now, as far as the growing stage of your company and what you're trying to produce, you know, initial stage, middle stage, final stage. You're obviously not at the final stage because that's not you haven't reached the ultimate goal yet. Right. So would you say it's fair to say you're in that middle ground stage, or are you still in your
I think I'm
stage?
about to break into the middle stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good stuff, man, because, you know, we definitely want to support you in what you're doing.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to seeing the more productions that you and your crew are going to come up with. Now, structurally, again, I always have to go back to this because it's all about business, right? So we got to talk about that. Is your company an LLC?
Yes, sir.
All right, so now help me understand, because some companies are LLC individuals, some companies are LLC partners. Where does your company fall?
Individual.
Individual,
Yeah.
okay. So what does that mean in comparison to the other form of the LLC?
Man, honestly, I never dove deep into the partner.
Okay.
You know, it was just one of those things, like I said, you know, Corey Pringle was just like, you know, this is what he has, and I just followed the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? So I just seen what he was doing, and it was working for him. So I followed suit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
So, have I thought about, you know, like S corp and stuff like that? Yeah, but we ain't gotta talk about that right now.
Yeah. That's that later.
Yeah.
Right now we keeping it where you can handle and manage it.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to, because liability and
Yes, sir.
taxes and, you know, funding.
Yeah.
You know, that one of our guests talked about the dual mingling of funds.
Yeah.
You know, these are all important things that as a business owner we have to take consideration. And now for you in the filmmaking industry, and you talked about, you know, raising funds, you know, that's a serious thing because that's fundraising.
Yeah.
Are there any fundraising events coming up that we need to know about that we can participate to help with, or you just is still in the beginning stages?
Yeah, so come January 5th, I believe, you'll be able to find a website, a landing page where, you know, you can learn about the film and who's going to be a part of it, who's shooting it, who's a part of the crew, the story, you know, the morality of everything, and then you'll be able to, you know, like help, you know, make this film possible. So.
Okay. Now for all those, I'm just asking because I'm still learning too. For all those that give a contribution toward the fund, they get some type of receipt or something so that they can write it off on taxes? Is that how that works?
So we didn't do that for Jazz.
Okay.
Because we didn't have too many, to be honest.
Gotcha.
But yes,
Okay.
you will be able to get a receipt and then, like, you know, write that off. So,
Okay. So with it being the way it is, man, because I know we talked about this, you know, my thing is when I'm thinking about the workload, I'm trying to see you not taking on all the positions. But are you the man taking on all the positions, really?
Man, it's hard to say sometimes. I feel like in the pre phases of everything, I feel like I am. Because just being a producer outside of directing, man, being a producer, man, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to all the crew members. I'm talking to all the cast members. I'm talking to, you know, whoever I need to talk to for location and makeup and wardrobe and just everything. So, I mean, with our last film, man, I think I probably was in contact with maybe like 500 people, like, and I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, I got email receipts from a bunch of people, you know, like. People from downtown South Bend, you know, looking for collaboration, and just a bunch of people. So, yeah, it's a lot of communication that goes into it. So I've had to recharge my my battery a lot. So
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's that workload, and you know, one thing I've noticed in our conversation is, and this is for all future filmmakers, you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't put in the work, there won't be the end result that you desire.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you talking about that, man, and I'm hoping that you can take some of that work off your shoulders soon.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Delegation is everything.
It's everything, man. So with that said, I would like for you to kind of just, let's see, we've talked about some of your challenges. You did bring that up. And you talked about the growth potential of the company. And you also talked about the potential for fundraising. I hope they paid attention to that for the film that will be coming and the production for Jazz. Yeah. So, man, how do you manage your time? Because you said you're a father. How do you get that time in with fatherhood?
It's a balance that I'm trying to learn every single day. And I see one of my biggest mentors. He's in his 40s and he has 3 girls, and I see how he balances it. And I'm just trying to learn every day. You know, my son understands. His mom understands. You know, my parents understand. You know, my girlfriend, she understands. So I think as long as everybody is in the know, you know, it's easier to manage.
Right.
But yeah, it's tough sometimes, man, because like sometimes you don't sleep, but that's a part of the process. That's a part of the sacrifice, and that's what makes, you know, other people stand out. It's like, how much are you willing to sacrifice? And I've sacrificed a lot since I graduated high school, to be honest. So
okay. Well, that's a fair answer, man, and I'm glad to see you got the support from others that you can accomplish your goals. Man, this has just been a pleasure sitting here to talk with you, man. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while. Yeah. I'm very honored to sit with you and talk to you.
Thank you for having me, man.
And I'm hoping that we can do some future collaborations on some things. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Tell the people real briefly, you know, a little bit how they can reach out to you if they want to collaborate with you.
Yeah. So yeah, if y'all want to collaborate, man, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Tre Marquise, TreMarquise. And you can also find me at www.dreamstoryfilms.com.
There you go. So now you know how to reach them if you want to collaborate with them. And remember, he's a pioneer for the South Bend area when it comes to filmmaking and many other productions. We want to support that. So thank you, Tre, for joining us.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Thank you.
So for you, we want to encourage you to continue to move forward even when you find yourself struggling. Never give up. Continue to pursue your goals as being a business owner and an entrepreneur. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk Business, and y'all have a wonderful day.